Welcome to Core Concepts. In this show, we invite people to come tell us what they believe, why they believe it, what they're doing about it, or how's it manifesting in their lives. What has been developed for them in their path. And we've had a very wide variety. This show is being shot at the Temple of the Sacred Gift in Bartlett, Tennessee. It's sponsored by the Institute of Applied Metaphysics, the Church of Revelation, and One Community. Also, we put as sponsor IAM-WELL. This is an organization that we're developing for Reiki and subtle energy healing systems. And our guests today are two Reiki Masters and people who are well known in the Memphis community. Cheryl Yarborough is probably best known for her singing bowls, and very beautiful. I've had the opportunity to hear that for an extended period of time there with Abigail's place.
You did.
Yeah. And our other guest is Jennifer Ledbetter, and Jennifer is a Reiki master, and she's well known for teaching Reiki. Both these ladies they're quite a team. In fact, I did my own third level and master attunement with Jennifer at the same time that Cheryl was doing it. So we've known each other for some time and have worked together. How did this nefarious partnership begin?
A lot of people lovingly refer to us as the Ethel and Lucy show, and it is a joke, but we have tremendous energy between us. We were talking about that earlier today, how Jennifer's my teacher. Mm-hmm. I look up to her because I have learned. She was my first Reiki teacher, and I followed in the footsteps, and I wanted to aspire to be very much like her. And it's just worked. We've been good friends for about 5 or 6 years, and I'm now teaching with her. And we just work well together. You know, you just find those people that work well. And our students love us together, you know. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, for the benefit of the viewing audience, can you go into some detail about what Reiki is? I'm sure most people nowadays hear about it, but there's a lot of people who don't even know what Reiki is. Where does it come from? What does it do?
You know, Reiki's healing energy. It's a way to have a holistic tool that we can bring ourselves back into wholeness. It's originally older than time. It is our birthright to work with this healing energy. Japanese are attributed for originating it, but it goes back even further than that. But Reiki means universal life force energy. It's the stuff we're made of. And as we work with that energy, it's designed for perfection. So what it does is it brings us back into alignment with the divine plan. And it works with all of the levels of our being. So no wonder people aren't aware of it, because it's not mainstream yet. But I think more and more people are looking at alternatives to prescriptions and suffering.
And I know that you say it's not mainstream, but Julie Dennis, who's also with us today, has worked in the hospitals. Mm-hmm. And there's
Ronald McDonald House.
Ronald McDonald House. So it is
Cancer Clinic.
It's something that's being recognized that it has some effect.
Yes, more and more, especially with Alzheimer's patients. It's a very calming energy. It's an energy that helps them to be soothed and calmed, and that's important. There are 800 hospitals that are documented that are using Reiki practitioners. Some of them are using them in a volunteer program because the practitioners love to work with the energy. So they will volunteer their time, come to the hospital or come to a Reiki share and just work with that energy, give of themselves. There are paid programs. Cheryl and I went to Cleveland, Ohio, and there's a hospital there, Uja Hospital, where they have a whole wing devoted to alternative methods. 80% of their funding goes to Reiki practitioners. They do massage, they do acupuncture, but just 20% of their funding goes to that because it isn't called upon as much as the Reiki. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we did complete the 3 levels, all right, of study, and if you would tell us a little bit about what's involved in those levels of study.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, but in the end, there was an attunement. I wanted you to talk a little bit about the attunement.
You know, now we make the attunement at the beginning. We spend about an hour building a foundation as to what the attunement is and why it's important. And we give the attunement in the very first class within the second hour. And the attunement is just a sealing of the channels open through which this universal life force energy flows. What is wonderful about Reiki energy is it is qualified according to the need of the individual, and it's not me qualifying the energy. I am just the conduit, as is every Reiki practitioner. We don't see ourselves as the doer, we see ourselves as the straw through which the energy flows, takes all the burden off my shoulders. I just have to be in harmony. I have to stay in a loving, open space. I call it a sacred space. And as long as I'm there creating that sacred space of loving that individual, the energy flows according to what is needed. That's what's so great about Reiki energy is it's tailor-made according to the need of the individual. You'll have people get up and say, my headache is gone. Well, I didn't even know they had a headache. But the energy did.
Yeah.
It's an intelligent energy, we think of.
It's interesting. When I first started, I would tell them, I said, I don't feel anything. You know, when I'm working with the patient, I didn't personally feel anything, and they said, well, don't worry about it. That's not your problem. It'll be taken care of. The energy is there and going on. But I had the opportunity. I was at a chiropractor's office, and he was plugging up my wife for the electrical thing that smooths the muscle. And I had my hand about this far away. And as soon as they turned that electricity on, it was coming up and hitting me, just almost like as solid as feeling it. Yeah. And it was really something else. Well, I thought, well, that's great, but that's, the electricity's on. And then the following Wednesday night, I was doing the caring center out at the Unity. And I was working with a cancer patient, lung cancer patient. And when I came across her back, the same thing started coming up. And so I think it kind of activated it so that I could, from that point, I could feel it when I was doing it. Now, what's going on there? Are we just not able to, are a lot of the Reiki practitioners not able to feel?
There are a number that say that it takes time before they create that sensitivity. The energy is flowing, but sometimes they'll say it just began with a tingling. That's all I felt. Or they'll say, I felt heat, warmth, or I felt pushback. When I was moving my hands, I could feel energy. So we're each unique. It's however we set it up. I used to say that to people when they'd say, I can't feel anything. I'd say, well, change the way you set it up.
One of the things, though, we're supposed to be the conduit. We're not out there creating,
healing.
The energy's not coming from you.
We are, no. You are channeling in the divine universal life force energy, and you become a conduit. And a lot of us, when you've done this a lot, you pull, I put my hand up and I bring in the energy and I want to send the energy back out. I am sensitive enough to the energy that I know that I'm doing something, but you surrender it. You just turn it over and you say, okay, this person needs help, whatever they need, let me be the one to be able to bring the energy through to them so that they actually are healing themselves. But a lot of people, they want that, oh, I want to feel something or whatever. And I kind of think, when you change your radio dial, you get all the frequencies and all this stuff coming in and the chatter. But it's kind of like, okay, when you surrender that to the universal life force energy, then you become what I call, and what Jennifer calls, a clear channel that you can just pull it through and send it right back out.
Now, originally, it cost quite a bit to get training as a Reiki practitioner.
Welcome to Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, it was everywhere.
I mean, no. I mean now. I mean now, because people, when we went to Columbus, where we go? Cincinnati, Cleveland, and we go up there, and these are the guys that were trained by William Rand, who has taken Reiki to all different. And I really respect William.
I have one of
Rand.
his books.
Yeah, he's incredible because he wants it standardized and everybody to be doing the same stuff and for the maximum benefit and use of Reiki. And I know up there the classes were extremely expensive. You know, and some of the people would say, well, we went and we paid $1,000 to take a class. You'll hear some people say they paid a lot more. I kind of find that a little hard to believe, but maybe they did. I don't know. But now,
I was told in California it was quite high at one point.
Yeah,
like 5,000 or something.
Yeah.
Our classes, we charge about, it just depends on the situation, around $135 for level 1, level 2, and level 3. And that includes...
135 for each level?
And that includes your all-day session, your attunements, and Jennifer fixes the most magnificent lunch. So you walk in the door, you don't have to bring anything, everything is provided, and you walk out with your whatever level it is that you're working on. And I think that is it's a bargain. It is a real bargain. Now, if there are people that want to do this and they have financial situations, nobody will ever be turned away. We don't turn anybody away for that at all. We work with anybody that has a situation.
Well, let's talk about the Diksha.
Pure light blessing. Yes, we teach that once a month over at Shady Grove Presbyterian Church. And it is a 2-hour training. There's never a charge for it. And it's an opportunity to channel pure light. And it contains 4 rays. And it's very beautiful. It is an energy that is managed by a living lady master on the planet. She's living and on the planet. And I love that part.
So it's not actually a part of Reiki, but it is something that you do in conjunction with it.
Right. We start every Reiki session with pure light blessing, and we end every session with pure light blessing, which is another word for Diksha.
Every healing session or every training session?
Every healing session begins and ends with that infusion of pure light.
I have been personally trained by the Lady Master. I went and spent a week out there, not just for the Diksha. I went on a conference out there, and part of that was one morning they did Diksha training. Well, I'd already been trained, but it was a real interesting situation to be able to have her put her hands on you and transfer all that, and it's really
now, Diksha does that mean pure light?
It's initiation. It means you're being initiated. You're moving to the next level. It takes you wherever it finds you, and it is about enlightenment. And most gurus of the Indian or from India know that in order to reach enlightenment, you have to bring light into the brain. So this is just a mainstream way of bringing light into the brain. She manages, the living lady master, Sai Ma, manages that energy. And any one of us can be a pure light giver or receiver.
I've met her. She was here and did some special sessions with all the Reiki Masters. And I assume that the singing bowls is just an extension of this too, because you're talking about vibrations here. Tell us a little bit.
It's vibration. We're moving into a realm of how energy and energy vibrations are going to be, well, they already are, it's just we're now learning how to apply them. But there's vibrational medicine, there's vibrational healing situations. I heard the bowls played and fell in love with them, and the next thing I knew, I owned 32 of them. So it was, my next step up is going to be my gongs, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Now, the first ones that I heard were crystal. But the ones that I saw you playing was a whole array of metal bowls.
That's right. The crystal bowls are actually, well, they're both called singing bowls, but with a crystal bowl, mainly you're going to find a practitioner that's going to stand there and they're just going to take a striker of some sort, and they're just going to just keep rimming the bowl round and round, and you're going to hear that one tone, which is beautiful. It works on the crystalline environmental properties of your cells. The Himalayan Tibetan bowls are metal, and they're made out of 7 metals. Most of them, the good ones, are made out of 7 metals. And when you strike these bowls, I play them. Now, I can do the same thing on them, and they will hum and sing.
It never stopped. I think you went for 20 minutes the other night.
Well, you got the shortened version.
Or 30 might have been.
If I do the hour version, it's people are actually, they're passed out, laying there. Sometimes we have to bring them back. My son was one. My son thinks I have lost my mind because I like all these bowls, and he would never go hear them because he said, I hear enough of them at home, when I play. But anyway, I invited him to go one night. We had a little trade-off. If he would go, I would do whatever I told him I would do. And he walked in, real cocky, like, it's my mom up there. And so I looked over and I started laughing. He was like out. And when it was over, we give people an opportunity to come back, realign their energies, whatever. He didn't come back. And I'm going, uh-oh, we're really taking him to another planet. But anyway, we worked with him, and he came back and he said, man, that's better than anything I've ever done. I knew what that meant. But he said, I had no idea it would take you out like that, the relaxation or whatever. So while you're in that state and you're hearing all these vibrations, and the bowls, the metal bowls are lined with your chakra. You'll have your root chakra is a C bowl, and your next chakra on up to your crown is a B. So you go all the way up the scale, and my bowls are root tuned. So it's very effective. And you can also do a healing session with them. You can do Reiki. A lot of times with Reiki, we've started integrating the bowls into the sessions, like holding a bowl over the person. And we do some other type of energy work where I can use a pendulum and check chakra alignments when we're going to do a Reiki session. And if there's anything out of line, we can go in with a bowl and do the strike with that and kind of clean it up and go back and check it later. It's singing wide open. So it's vibrational medicine. There's a doctor in Houston, Texas. He's an oncologist, and in his practice, he gets end-stage cancer patients. And he keeps crystal bowls in his waiting room, and he has the patients playing them while they're in there, their family playing them while they're in there, and he writes a prescription for that patient to go and get their own crystal bowl to take home with them. And matter of fact, he was on Dr. Oz the other day, and I went, whoa, we're really moving up now,
It's entrainment.
It is, it really is to bring this in, but the power of the vibrations of the universe are just, they're endless. They're absolutely endless, and they've been there forever and ever and ever, and we are just now learning how to use them.
So we're talking about, in all of this, vibration and what else? Is everything to do with Reiki and the bowls and all of this, everything has got to do with the vibration?
It's energy, but it's vibrational type energy. It's like that radio dials out there. You get out there and you pull in, I'm going to, do your little thing, I'm going to do Reiki, and I ask for the universe to supply me with the energy to transmit the Reiki. But if you want to take the bowl and do something else with the bowl, that's a little different form of vibration. There's vibration is just a huge word.
But it's all entrainment.
It's all
whether
entrainment.
It's Reiki energy that your vibration is entraining to, or whether it's the Tibetan bowls, that vibration.
Well, as I understand it, the green in your blouse is a vibration. That's a vibration that gives it the green.
That's
The
correct.
brown.
Oh, you're very,
Yeah.
that's true.
And so color has something to do with
Exactly.
You will always see this person right here with purple in some shape, form, or fashion. She's never without purple. Now, if you get her talking about the violet flame, that's a whole situation to itself. But I am never without my crystal. I have this crystal. If I leave my house without this crystal on, it goes beep, beep. I'm getting the sick. You forgot me. You forgot me. Come back and get me. And the story on this crystal was, I saw a lady in Nashville who had it on. I walked in the room and I went, whoa. Walked in the room, went straight to it, and I walked over to her. And I told her, I said, I'm not stalking you, but I want to see that crystal you got on. She took it off and handed it to me, and I knew it was supposed to come to me.
And you ran and she never saw it again.
No, I did not have a good poker face on that day. So I paid for it quite handsomely, but I've had the crystal, and Jennifer's, we're together a lot, and there's never, ever, ever a day that we go out anywhere, somebody does not walk up to me
Always.
about this crystal.
Now, we
So the
talk about,
vibration's coming out of it.
so the color has to do with it, but as I understand it, your liver vibrates at one rate,
Yes.
Mhm.
your heart vibrates at
Yep.
one rate,
Yeah.
your
Yep.
brain none of it's the same,
It's a symphony.
all right, of the whole body.
Yeah.
And I take it that when Reiki is practiced in connection with this, that energy just goes to whatever vibration of that body part. Or
You
whatever.
are, you're
That's
pulling
correct.
the energy for that person needs. You're being the conduit, you're being the channel, you call it whatever you want, you know, but you are pulling it, and that person is sending it exactly where it needs to go, and it will vibrate and resonate at that level.
And it's a different vibration for different organs.
Now, you didn't go to high school and then pop up and say, I want to be a Reiki practitioner.
Oh,
We all have our paths.
oh God.
And I know that your father was a Church of Christ
It
minister.
was.
What about your,
Catholic,
You're
raised
Catholic.
Catholic.
and at some point in your path, you began to move in this direction. Not that Reiki in itself is a religion as such.
I agree, it's not a religion.
not.
No dogma.
Mhm.
Well, I actually taught at the University of Tennessee Medical School in the Department of Medicine, right up with the chief of staffs, or the heads of the department. And when I was over there and had the opportunity of being in that arena, I'm by degree, I'm a research medical technologist and highly trained in hematology. And we were over there trying to, do things that you do in a hematology laboratory, and I was teaching the medical students. And after a while, I start going, why do these people have to die? Why doesn't this stuff work? And then when I was introduced to Reiki, when my mother had Alzheimer's. And that's when I met Jennifer. And I mean, it was like, here I am trained in traditional medical components, so to speak. And I'm going, you can take this alternative healthcare measure and just see I could see my mother, I would sit there on her crown chakra going, for her highest and best good or blah, blah, blah. And she would just relax, and I'm going, wow, because Alzheimer's is a tough thing to deal with. So anyway, and then I started checking it out more and got into where I now consider myself to be an alternative healthcare practitioner, because I have been trained in matrix energetics and the lifeline technique and healing touch, and I recently went through Dolores Cannon's training program in quantum healing hypnosis therapy. Well, that's a biggie. You talk about vibrations and talking to subconscious and past life regressions. That's really interesting. But that's when I started thinking there's more outside of going to the doctor. And one of the things that I think is extremely critical right now is healthcare's in a mess. Anybody, and this isn't political, this is just fact. Healthcare's in a mess. And if you can step up to the plate and learn something like Reiki, you don't understand until you've gotten into it what a gift. It is a gift. The universe is giving you a gift that you can turn around and you can help other people. Now, you can't go in and do heart surgery and liver transplants and all that kind of stuff, but you don't know what you can do because
Because you're not doing it.
you're not doing it.
Good point.
But you don't know what you are doing to help that person clean up some of this stuff. Maybe they don't have insurance and they can't afford to go to the doctor, but you can put some more quality of life back into that person's situation. And this was one of the things I spoke on this not too long ago when I was over in Arkansas on the podium for Doris Cannon's Brand New Round of Students, and I told them, I said, when you're given these gifts, and they are gifts, you need to take them and cherish them and use them for everybody's highest and best good. And look what you're doing for the world and the planet. You know, you're giving somebody back something they didn't know, and you're also teaching them to do something. This is stuff we can teach anybody to do. Anybody. Children, you know. And with a pure light blessing, I'm telling you, that is 2 hours. It's so simple. And we walk in a room, and everybody's sitting there, you know, like, you know, they don't know what's fixing to happen. We always have a beautiful altar set up with candles and flowers and stuff. And you can watch, I'm getting goosebumps now, you can watch that room of people melt into, it's like peace. And they all leave there in peace. And they've learned how to do that. And you can send that energy out. We had some school teachers in this last class, and I you just don't know how lucky you are, because you can sit there right at your desk and send that pure light right out to all those children and calm them down. Mm-hmm. Energy. It's just that vibrational energy.
Recently, Cheryl invited me to do Reiki while she does the hypnosis regression.
Oh, wow.
We found that to be very effective, very helpful.
It's, now, at one point, I took training in calamity.
Yes.
Calamity,
I don't know what that
which is the Native American version
Starting
of
at
Reiki.
the
Oh,
feet.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, starting at the feet, right?
Yeah, right. And but
That's neat.
Yeah.
but they were adamant that it was not to be mixed with anything else. And then later, I heard that also from Reiki practitioners not to do other things. But I, being me and being stubborn, I did what I wanted to do. But and I'm sure that,
We're doing what
you're
we
doing
wanna
what you
do.
want to do, because I would do I would talk to the person quite a bit in the beginning to know, and also put some things in the mind there, and then I would do a visualization.
Okay.
Where I wanted them to take and what I wanted. And I might talk to them during the process as well, and certainly at the end of it. And that's why I used the back room back there at the church. And then they got to be competition for that, so I just let them have it. But but that was you're bringing in
Mix.
quite a mix.
I say it from this point of view. I don't set out when someone comes in to have a Reiki session, if they're truly coming in for a Reiki session, not anything else specific like a hypnosis session. And I go, okay, tell me a little bit about what's going on, or just lay down and we're going to surrender, you know. And when they surrender and I surrender, anything that I have the ability or the gift, and I consider all of it a gift, to do is going to just come through and go straight to them, and they get exactly what they need. I'm not going to say I set out to mix Reiki and Lifeline or Reiki and Matrix Energetics or anything else, because I don't, but it's in me. You know, I've got the attunements for every bit of that.
So you're going to move in the way that you feel.
That's right. So I'm trusting my surrender to the, I call it the universe, to guide me and send in what that person needs for their best use and their highest good. And that's, I don't try to fix anything. I don't.
So we got a little bit of something that's even older than the Japanese. We've got the Japanese. We've got some Indian things mixed in there.
But that's all
how did you move from Church of Christ and Catholic to, not saying that you've changed your religion or anything.
Daddy's listening. It's good, Daddy.
He's just a minister.
When I start talking that, I can feel him so strong. But it did not resonate with me. And I say that with all due respect to the universe and the Supreme Being and my dad and anything else. But I don't know what it was that didn't resonate. I don't disrespect it. It just didn't resonate. So my daddy and I had a couple of long talks, and he never did. That man walked his walk, talked his talk, and he lived his life pure and clean. And if anybody's up there, it's him. And he respected my thoughts, because I would always say, have you ever thought about this? And he'd say, yep. That's all he would say.
Yep.
Yep. I said, okay. He says, well, think long and hard about it, and that would be about it. But as I moved on through life and was exposed, because up until, I'd say I was 20 years old, I was never, we had a bunch of Catholic neighbors, you know, that went to Catholic school, and then us. But other than that, I was never exposed to any of this stuff. So it all came through, you know, after probably I've got 3 degrees. I don't know when this stuff started coming in, but I would start challenging.
Well, is this something that you, one might participate in and utilize regardless of what religion they're in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we all need to look out there and try to understand, because when people put those blinders on, oh, I don't believe in that. How do you know you don't believe in it? Because you don't even know what it is. You just know because this is the way you were raised. And thank goodness my parents did not do that to me, and they probably had a better chance of doing it than most other people. But they didn't. They didn't put the blinders on. They didn't tell me that was wrong or whatever. So as I explored some stuff, or even in school, you know, you'd be taking a religion class or a philosophy class or something, and my eyes would open up. And I find the Hindu teachings extremely fascinating. You know, a lot of the stuff that they do. I do have an ordination. People find that hard to believe, but I do. And but I'm non-denominational, interfaith, and whatever. I work with people. A lot of times, some of the stuff I do is for people that when they get into a situation in life, like you have a death, and you don't have a church, and you don't have a minister, and what do? I step up to the plate. It doesn't matter what their situation is. Let's put the honor into whatever this celebration of life is we need to do and make y'all feel good. And I love doing that. I really love doing that, because that's one of my ways of being able to say, hey, we're all one. Take the blinders off. Don't hate labels. But anyway, so that's kind of how I got into it. And I like it. I'm comfortable with it. I like being alternative, and I like being interfaith and non-denominational, and I don't have a label to wear. So.
Now you do a lot, you work quite a bit at the Pulin Temple, which is managed, the temple master is Henry Chu in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And would you consider yourself still Catholic, or would you consider yourself Buddhist, or somewhere in between?
I consider myself all religions, but that was my training. Mother and Dad divorced after 21 years of marriage, and Mother was told she was excommunicated. I don't think Dad had to be told. He wasn't there to be told. But anyway, what happened is Mother's attitude was, I got along without you. Before I found you, I'll get along without you now.
That's a song.
What, yeah. But I spared you my singing off too. But what happened is one of her children, I was 14, and she started exploring the different religions, and she wanted us to be enriched. And so she said to us, don't limit yourself. Be all religions. And so she found wonderful teachings, and she said, truth. I just want to find the truth, and it's in all the religions. So I do consider myself a practitioner of spiritual energies. I work with spiritual energies. My goal is to raise my consciousness. I was taught that God is ever transcending, and that we as the Creator's creation are ever transcending. So why would I take a whole lifetime and just be one religion when I could learn from all the religions and accelerate my progress? So I accepted that. That was Mother's teaching.
So it's more a matter of spirituality than religion anyway.
Oh, absolutely. I think so.
It's relationship. It's relationship with the divine within, the divine without.
I mean, I can look at almost any religion or any spiritual teaching and go, ooh, I want a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, because, you know, but then I don't want that, you know, so.
Some things don't resonate in a religion. I wouldn't probably be good at war. Religions do war well. So I have to pick and choose where I resonate. I love ritual. It feeds my soul. So there is lots of ritual that pull in, and I like that.
And I don't like ritual. She'll start, okay, now we're going to do this 19 times and repeat it again 3, and I'm going, oh.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Well, even within, that's because even within the church that you grew up, that it wasn't supposed to have any creed
Right.
and not supposed to be any ritual, but you do the same things every day. You come and you sing the songs, you pray, you have the Lord's Supper, and you have the speaker. That's a ritual.
Oh, absolutely, it's a ritual.
That is a process. So
That's right.
it's what makes people comfortable. Is I guess what that boils down to, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I was open to Reiki because of that training of don't limit yourself. And I was also taught that the Creator resides in the creation and that it is our desire to fully express our divinity. I didn't find anything that gave me that opportunity like Reiki did.
Because this is pure dualism, and that's Augustinian thinking in the church that separated God from the creature and the creator, and as opposed to being a part of the whole oneness. So that's what you picked up on there very, very strongly. So, but the path has been. At what age did you actually begin this process? Not, I don't want you to tell me how old you are. Just when did you begin to move in this direction?
I told you I was 37.
Yeah.
It's been, I'd say, maybe 30 years or so ago.
So you've been moving along at this
Oh, yeah.
for some time, and you too?
Well, at 14, Mother brought home a book called The Stories the Feet Can Tell. It might have been Hands and Feet. I think Mildred Ingram was the author. I read that book and I was taken by it. And so I was fascinated with the systems that we could work with in the feet. So I said one day, I'd like to go to the Caring Center and rub feet. And Mona, my Reiki teacher, said, why don't you come and see what we do first? And I went, okay. And when I came, they were doing Reiki. I had my first Reiki session when I was 50. And I got up off the table and I said, who's going to take me home? I'm like a wet noodle.
That,
Yeah, real relaxed. And they said, you're going to be fine. You just go out and have a little bit of water and talk, have a conversation.
Now let's describe this Reiki.
Relaxation.
What happens with the individual who has Reiki
It
treatment?
affects every cell in your body.
And that person is laying on something like a massage couch, right? And you're not touching them, generally speaking.
It can be either light touch or radiation from above.
I'm a toucher, but I
On
always
and
ask the person, you do this for legal reasons, unfortunately, do you mind if I touch you? And I do. I really do like to, at least, it's a very light touch, but I found I have difficulty not touching. So, but if they say I do not want to be touched, then you don't touch them. I ask. A lot of people don't, but I do.
And I've had them tell me that they can, even though when I was not touching, they felt.
Oh, absolutely. You
They
do.
absolutely felt
Absolutely.
the energy.
I can send energy to you right now and probably put you through the window, but it's.
But we
Hey,
wouldn't
as
do
long
that.
as you don't mess up my hair.
I know, but seriously, you learn how, some people just are able to pull a lot of energy, and with matrix energetics, you can do that real easy. But no, with Reiki, which we need to get back on track with Reiki, because that is, I think, everybody needs to be exposed to Reiki in some shape, form, or fashion. But you feel the energy. You can't, and you can also learn, instead of, a lot of people feel she's got extremely hot hands, but there's one lady who taught me how to do cold Reiki, and she's got a way where she cups her hands and blows, and I don't know how effective that is. They say that a lot of people that have cancer, they're very sensitive to the heat of Reiki. So if they say, ooh, that's too hot, I can't handle that, then that's an indicator that maybe there's something going on they need to have checked out.
And I know that at one point I got to where I would have them sit on the table for a while, because they get up and stumble around. Here's somebody laying there for 20, 30, 40 minutes and not being touched, and yet getting up and stumbling around.
But here's the thing, and this is why I think stress is probably at the top, one of the top killers of people right now. Because when you're stressed, you're wearing your heart out, you're wearing your liver out, you're wearing everything out. When you can get somebody into a situation on a Reiki table where they, like my son, he was out with the bowls, you know. If you can get people to accept that particular type of energy, that they are so relaxed, they have totally surrendered, I think if we need a 24-hour Reiki center where they can come in, and when they get ready to come back up off the table, get up and go home. I hate getting them up to go home, you know. Early, because we usually say we're complete, you know, to tell them that we're through with the Reiki so they can get up.
It was one of the problems I had with the regular caring center thing, because they wanted you to do about 20 minutes and of course not make any noise, because there's a lot of other people in there. That's why I used the back room. But I found for me it was about 40 minutes that I needed. To do what I do. To do what
you do? Yeah, I can't. 20 minutes is really cutting. And if I can't give them, like if I'm standing there and I'm really surrendered and the energy's coming through, and then somebody goes, 20 minutes is up, I'm going, but I'm not through.
I'm not through.
It doesn't seem quite fair.
Now, a lot of I guess with modern day equipment and technology now, we know that those vibrations are coming off those cell phones. We know that they're coming across from the refrigerator and the light bulbs and everything else. So there is no question about this energy. All right? A question is like negative thoughts. I mean, every thought creates. And it can either create constructively or destructively. All right? And if it's fear-based, it's going to be chaotic, and if it's love-based, then it's a very powerful and constructive thing. And it's the same with this energy. I mean, you can have some destructive energy out there. I mean, you can walk into a room where there's a fight going on, and you can feel the waves, the anger and the hate. You can feel that palpably too.
Oh, absolutely. And you just start sending out the good stuff. And with Jennifer puts everything in the violet flame, and she transmutes all that. But this is probably bad to say, but I'm gonna say it. One of the places that upsets me more than anywhere is to walk in a Walmart. There is more energy going on in a Walmart. When I walk across or pull into the parking lot, I'm going, whew.
People there to get their drugs.
I'm worn out. You know, it's just before you go in the store, and I come out of there and I'm usually angry. I go to check out, I'm angry. And then it was brought to my attention by another Reiki practitioner. She said it's the energy in there, and I hadn't thought about that. You know, this happened about 2 years ago, and I just...
Now, what kind of energy would be negative in a Walmart?
Chaos. The people are walking around stressed out. Most of them don't have money to buy what they need. They're just putting out that bad energy, you know. So that's what I'm saying. People are so stressed now. You take one of those people and lay them down on a bench over there and do Reiki on them, they're going to get up and be happy and feel good. So
it does. It helps change your energy when you work with Reiki.
But you can go through a place like Walmart and you just start sending out. Now when I have to go, which is rare, you send it out. You can send the Diksha blessing out anywhere.
What happens when you go into a church or a synagogue or a
place of worship? What
kind of energy do you feel there? Now, if you go to certain ones, they'll tell you we've got to have the evil spirits leave so that the good spirits can come in. All right? I've heard this. So, well, I mean, what is that all about? Are the evil spirits hanging around the churches too?
What happens is where there's a focus of light, those who don't carry light would like to have that light. And so that draws them. And so there is a need to be aware. Light changes non-light when it touches it. And so they want your light. There's a little bit of a push-pull action. And so we call for protection. not against the dark energy, but we call for the energy of light. Light will change that non-light.
Now, I've actually heard people talking about energy vampires.
Oh,
What can you tell us about
That's
this?
one of my favorite words, is an energy vampire. But I mean it in this respect. Energy vampires are people that have had a little bit of what we do, or we do Reiki on them and they really, really like it. But I can't choose my words, they just have to come out. They're too lazy to get out and clean themselves up enough so that everybody can have as much light, they can have as much energy as they so want, just they've got to learn how to do it or train themselves to do it. And so we were having this conversation on the way out here. They've been on my phone all day. So anyway, I said, you know, if they would just learn to do some of this stuff and tune their own radio dial in, they could stop all this energy from being energy vampires. But it's a lot easier for them to pick up the phone or show up at your house totally unannounced in total crisis drama mode. And they want you to use your gifts of Reiki to fix them. And it's very draining, and it does become a problem. Because, well, we had in a couple of Reiki shares, we had several people that they came every time we had it and walked in that door like, you could see them sitting out there waiting on their turn, just, oh, and everybody's going, God, I hope I don't get them tonight. You know, but anyway, but
They really needed it,
They
though.
really did.
but they need to learn to do some of this stuff themselves, because you can't fix somebody else.
I mean, we do, you see people, older people in particular, love to pick up a baby.
Oh, I know.
The energy that's emanating from that
Mhm.
baby is tremendous.
Pure love.
Yeah.
Pure love. That baby is not jaded.
That program.
And we like our pets.
Oh.
And Julie, of course, works a lot with animals.
I'm an animal rescuer myself, and I love the animals. I think they're one of the most healing. If we really, really knew what was going on in their heads, I think the animals are some of my best teachers.
Even if you don't know what's going on in their heads, that energy is coming back. It's coming out.
I have 3 rescue dogs right now. 2 of them they're getting old. And I looked at them the other day and I thought, please don't take these dogs from me anytime soon. They're my rock. You know, they're my rock. They listen to all this crap coming across the phone I go through every day with people. And, you know, and I mean, but they really are, and they take it on for you. I think that I Reiki them, I cold laser them, you know, I do anything I can to keep these dogs as healthy and happy as I can. But animals are vital to us. They are vital to us.
They're healers.
Now, what do you do in your apartment there, where you live? There are quite a few people who are in advanced years. Some are sick. I know the place because my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law both lived and died there. But do you do anything to try to shore up the energy in that apartment building,
I
in
love
those places that you go?
Yes, I feel like that's why I'm there, is to make a difference, to make it better, improve the quality of life. So I'm very aware of the vibration and how to just love them.
We're trying to do that for the planet. You know, I'm serious. We are trying to send this out there because one of the things I've really got a problem with right now is how people are annihilating this planet. I mean, pick up your water bottle and put it in the garbage. It's simple stuff. But I mean, and you see all this stuff going on in Colorado, and you see all the stuff going on overseas, and you're going, wake up, people. All you got to do is if everybody would just take responsibility for themselves and their small children, if you have them, this world would be a much better place. But we've got to start. So we send energy out to the planet.
So what's the plan for this team here for the next few years? I mean, what do you expect to accomplish?
It's an outreach. We are reaching out with the Pure Light Blessing and the Reiki classes, because those are near and dear to our heart. And then the working with the subconscious under hypnosis is important. We have a list of people waiting to have an opportunity to work with Cheryl And so that's our plan, is just to keep giving, to keep in harmony, to keep our vibrations raised high so that we're in joy, we're in harmony, we're in acceptance, so that it gives permission to others to raise their vibrations.
And that's with your, you have people waiting for what?
The regressions.
Okay.
With a quantum hypnosis, it's called QHHT, and that's quantum healing hypnosis therapy. And basically, I'll really try to nutshell this. What I do is I bring you in and explain to you what we're doing. Why do you want this? You know, you gotta want it, because if you don't want it, there's no sense in wasting it.
The regression, you mean?
So I put them into a life hypnosis, and we go to a past life, which they choose. They choose it. Subconsciously, they're choosing it. And once we work with that past life, we dismiss all that, and I move in, and I'm actually talking with their subconscious, which is also, I think, their soul. They're at their soul level right then. And we go in, and we start cleaning stuff up, and I have enough information from the past life and the interview that I do prior to putting them into the hypnotic trance, that we start cleaning stuff up, and we have had some unbelievable things happen. And Jennifer, I got this bright idea. I said, Jennifer, wonder what would happen if we really got them relaxed with Reiki before we do the hypnosis. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. People are a little afraid of the hypnosis because they go, oh, I'm scared I'm going to tell something. That's not what we're after. We're not after deep, dark secrets in your closet. We're after stuff that's got you blocked from moving down the path of life you want to walk on. And if that happens to be a deep, dark secret and you want to share it, it's there and it's not going anywhere but that room, you know. So anyway, but we've had some phenomenal...
Some blocks removed.
Yeah.
Now, would you like to have a few moments to speak to the viewing audience, just your own personal message, you and Cheryl?
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, welcome to my world, too.
I love to do feet. I love to work on your feet.
Oh,
I love to do Reiki. I love to teach Reiki.
I will say this. We sat down the other day, and I said, you know, Jennifer, we know a whole lot of stuff. A whole lot of stuff. And I said, I think we need to develop a class or a teaching program.
Need a curriculum.
Yeah,
That's what we did. I'm so out of the box. I mean, you got to pull me back down. But anyway, so she's there with her pencil and paper, and I said, what about if we taught a class on this? And what about if we taught a class on this? And next thing I knew, we had about, I'd say about 10 subjects that we really are going to work real hard to do next year. And it's all in elevating people's energy.
And maybe we can connect that up with the Institute of Applied Metaphysics.
Absolutely.
and
We
make that
just did
available.
this last week.
Raising consciousness.
Yeah, raising the consciousness. But see, if we can get people, I know where I was, I'd say 10 years ago to where I am now, I'm a totally different person. I never knew I could fill my body with light and all these colors and move energy and do this stuff. And I've seen other people, they would stand up and they would go, I didn't know 12 months ago there was this stuff called, and I know you've heard these people down at Manchester. Oh, I didn't know 12 months ago that I could take my hands and I could make energy come out of them. And I'm going, oh, just wait, you know, just wait. So that's what we want to do. That's we just kind of moved into that, and then we're real serious about that.
Developing
Some
And
kind of.
where Cheryl loves to say, I'm her teacher, it's really the reader.
Really the
No.
Well, that is one of the oldest truths, that the teaching is in the learning and the learning in the teaching. So no teacher will tell you that they don't learn from the students. And
I learn. If I'm awake, I'm learning. I'm learning right now. You know, I'm learning. I will never stop learning. I love to learn. I love to learn.
Well, it's interesting what you had to say about religions as a whole, because that's a conclusion I came to during the 35 or 40 years of working with the principles,
Right.
and showing where they come or can be found. Basically 13 that can be found in no matter where you look. It's like the energy is everywhere you look too. It's the same thing. I want to thank you both for being with us
It was a
on
pleasure.
Core Concepts today.
Thank
And
you.
we'll have you up there and you'll be able to see what you had to say, and
We couldn't repeat
and
it if we wanted to.
and criticize yourself, when you when you do. I want to thank you for being with us today on Core Concepts, and I want to remind you, and I want to invite you to go to youtube.com and type in Renford Broadcast Network, and there you can view the Laws of Material Wealth, the first DVD. You can view the Bookman Show, which is a local television show I have here where I interview authors. And that is on Comcast Cable Network in Memphis, so we put it on YouTube where no matter where you are, you can see it too. Also, this Core Concept series now with more than 50 shows up there that you can view. And I always want to remind you, you can find almost anything you want on the internet about a religion. But I think you'll find on Core Concepts things that you wouldn't even know to look for. And we want to invite you to do that. Visit the audiobooks section, the Music with Meaning, and the Renford Theater, where you can go find some of the movies that are metaphysically oriented that you might not know where to get. You can find that link. Also remember, we have radio talk show, Radio by Renford, almost every night of the week. There are 10 shows. And some of these shows also go to Dream Vision 7 Radio out of Boston and go to a listener base in 125 countries. So we want you to have the opportunity to see those. And if you would like to receive any of the support material or anything else, just email me, IAM-RENFORD, IAM-RENFORD @gmail.com, and I'll send them to you. And if you feel the need to talk, dial 901-487-9365. And be with us next week on Core Concepts.